Morning learners, welcome to the BA first year class of English again. This is the official YouTube channel of Department of English, Government College Sirohi, and I am your teacher Renuka Verma. In today's poetry class, we're going to talk about the poem Tyger. In the earlier class, in the previous class, we had a text reading of the poem, and in this class, we're going to talk about and discuss the content of the poem. So, as the title suggests, that the poem is all about the structure and the energy, the vigor and the presence of a tiger that it imparts on the onlooker. So, the poet is directly speaking to a tiger. So, he addresses directly a tiger and imagines the tiger's bright flashes of color in the dark night-time forest. So, he is imagining the bright and the fearsome presence of the tiger in the night-time forest. So, amazed and bewildered by the presence, by the impact that the tiger imparts onto the onlooker, the poet asks which immortal being could possibly have created the tiger's fearsome beauty. So, it's not possible for a mortal being, for a mortal man to create the tiger's fearsome and scary beauty. So, he's asking to himself, he's wondering who could have created the fearsome, the deadly, the fatal and at the same time the beautiful structure of a tiger. Then, in the next stanza, the speaker again wonders in which far off depths or skies the tiger's fiery eyes were made. So, again, in a bewildered statement, in a bewildered circumstance, he asks himself that in which far off depths or skies the tiger's fiery eyes were made. So, he is imagining the tiger's fiery eyes in the dark forest of the night, in the night time. So, he is asking that it's not possible for his eyes, for the tiger's eyes to be made in normal circumstances. So, he is asking to himself that in which far off depths, the depth beyond the bottom of the earth or skies or the highest height, the tiger's fiery eyes were made, because it is not possible for the eyes of the tiger to be made in normal circumstances. So, he is asking that his eyes could have been made he imagines that his eyes are made in the far off depths and the far off skies, because the impact that the fiery eyes of the tiger imparts is not normal, it's not ordinary. So, he is imagining about the place where his eyes were made. Again, he asks the tiger's creator, he wonders that if the creator of the tigers had wings, and whose hand would be daring enough to create the tiger. So, again, he again says that it is not possible for a normal being to create such a deadly structure, such a deadly body of the tiger. So, he imagines that the creator of the tiger might have had wings, so that he could fly off after creating such a fatal and deadly and scary structure, such a deadly body of the tiger. So, did the tiger's creator have wings, and whose hand would be daring enough to create the tiger? So, he is asking that it's not possible for a normal being to even dare to create the tiger. So, he imagines and he wonders that the creator of the tiger might have had wings while creating the body of the tiger, and after creating the tiger he might have he had wings, so he could have fly off after creating the tiger. So, again, he is just justifying, and he is trying to convince the readers that how deadly and how scary, how fearsome impact the presence of the tiger makes on the onlooker. So if someone imagines a tiger or sees a tiger in the dark of the night, he could only wonder about who created the tiger and how, in what circumstances his structure could have imagined and could have been actualized in actual beauty and could have been made, created. So, and in the next stanza, the speaker imagines the kind of effort and skill that must have gone into creating the tiger. So now again he is wondering, he is imagining about the effort, okay, the superhuman effort and superhuman skills that must have gone into creating the tiger. But because it's not possible for a normal craftsman to create such a structure, such a powerful and such a deadly figure, and wondering who would be strong enough to build the tiger's muscular body. So now after talking about his impact, his presence and his eyes, he is talking about the craftsmanship of its creator. So he wonders who would be strong enough to build the tiger's muscular body, the most powerful body of the tiger. So who is the immortal being who is strong enough to build the muscular structure, the muscular body of the tiger? And then he says that whose hands and feet were the ones that made the tiger's heart start beating. Tiger's heart start beating. So again he imagines that if even that immortal being dared to create something like that, how could he survive in front of in front of the tiger's beating heart? So he's just imagining that the creator, the immortal creator, the most powerful, the most skillful craftsman could have created, he could create the tiger, but after the body, the structure of the tiger, the body of the tiger came into life, the heart of the tiger started beating. How could the immortal being dare to see and dare to survive in front of that presence of the tiger? So he's wondering whose hands and feet were the ones that made the tiger's heart start beating. So the immortal hand of that craftsman dared to create the tiger, but whose hands and feet were the ones that made the tiger's heart start beating? So whose hands and feet, whose mighty hands and feet were there to impart life into that fearsome and scary body of the tiger? Who made the tiger's heart start beating? Because no normal being can survive in front of the beating, the deadly, the fearsome, alive tiger. So that is why he is wondering that whose hands and feet were the ones that made the tiger's heart start beating, who could impart life into such a deadly and fearsome structure, and who could survive its presence after making its structure. So in the first half of the poem, the poet is addressing the tiger directly, and he's wondering and imagining, and he's asking the tiger itself that who created you and who dared to survive your creation after making you. Enough for today. In the next class, we're going to talk about the last half, the second half of the poem. Please go through it again. Thank you.